Well, hi there, and welcome back to a new episode of the Coaching Hive podcast. If you've been following along, welcome back. If you're brand new to the Coaching Hive podcast, welcome. I am excited that you are here with me this week. Now, regardless of whether you're new or a returning fan of the Coaching Hive podcast, I want to fill you in quickly, I promise, quickly, about where we are right now in the podcast. We are about halfway through a specific series in the podcast. It's called the Coaching Hive Blueprint series. And this is where I'm walking you through each step and stage of the Coaching Hive Blueprint. This is the blueprint that our Coaching Hive members use to build their business with a little bit more ease and a little bit more clarity and focus. We have talked about vision, rhythm, mentors and peers, products and services, and a one-liner. We talked about that one last week. How is that coming along? Do you feel like you are better equipped to share what you do when someone asks you the dreaded question, so what do you do? Do you have a unique way to share what you do this week? Have you figured it out yet? Are you getting there? Take some time. If you're still working on it, that's okay. This is going to be an iterative process. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I say that a lot, and it's true. When you build a business, it takes time. It takes a process. It takes patience. It takes a willingness to adjust and adapt, and sometimes to pivot. Now, today's episode, we are going to continue through the blueprint journey, and we are going to talk about relationships and web presence. Woo! This is going to be a big one. I'm going to try and keep it brief for you because I always want you to have time to actually do some work. This whole series is built not just on the blueprint, but on the concept of making micro decisions every single day and then following through on them so that you can see progress in your business. You can start to take action with more ease, more focus, and without the overwhelm. Today, it's all about relationships and web presence. So if you're ready to get started, grab your notebook or your tablet, whatever you're taking notes on today. If you're feeling a little hungry, maybe grab a cup of water or a snack, whatever it is you need to stay focused, because I don't know about you. If I'm hungry, my mind is on my stomach growling and not on what I'm listening to. So once you're settled, if you're ready with our theme of simplicity, clarity, and vision for 2022 in mind, let's jump in. I'm Dr. Maura, and this is the Coaching Hive podcast. All right. I am thrilled that you're here with me today because this episode is near and dear to my heart as an introvert and a perfectionist. Oof, two big things right there. Introvert and perfectionism. Okay. And our topic is all about relationships and web presence. Now, maybe you can see where this is going, but if you can't, let me give you a little bit of insight. Building relationships is going to be critical to the success of your business. But as an introvert, thinking about having to go out and meet people, going to events where the sole purpose is mingling and meeting and greeting gives me the heebie-jeebies. Now, can I do it? Of course. I have not gotten to where I have in my career without learning how to do that, but it's not my favorite thing. I do, however, love making those meaningful connections. And so you have to start thinking about what's going to work for you, because here's the deal. Building relationships, it is non-negotiable if you intend to build a profitable business. Now, if you are trying to build a business that's more on the hobby side of things, then you can probably get away without this step in the blueprint. But if you want to make money or at least break even, relationships are going to be a key player. Why? Well, you can't possibly talk to everyone who might need your services. So you need a network of people who are supporting you, who are sharing your message as well. They are ambassadors. They are going to share when they hear someone saying, I need this. That person that you've built a relationship is going to say, well, I know exactly who you need to go to. I know someone who can help. Can I share their information with you? And that person's going to say, of course. Look at that. You just reached someone that you wouldn't have otherwise had access to. Building relationships in your community and online also helps you to get better at your message and your marketing, because every time that you meet someone new, you share a little bit about what you do, you're clarifying that process. So it creates practice. But it also reminds us that we were never designed as humans to do things all by ourselves. We are social creatures. Even as an introvert, I'm an introvert. Even as an introvert, we are social creatures. We need that support from one another. We need those relationships. We need that input. A lot of times, and I see this all the time when helping people clarify their marketing and messaging as a StoryBrand certified guide, I see people say, wow, I had no idea that's what I was trying to say. When you invite people from the outside to listen and to share in your message, it becomes much easier to clarify it. When we do it from just our own seat by ourselves, it's much like trying to read the label from the inside of the bottle. You can't do it, right? We need other people to help us grow, to learn, to become the business owners that we intend to be, want to be. So we have to build relationships. Now, does that mean that you have to go to every single meet and greet or mixer and put yourself out there for hours doing things that you really don't like to do? Or can you find ways that work for you? Of course, you can find the ways that work for you. Now, the occasional meet and greet is not a bad idea, simply because you're going to have access to a lot more people all at once. I will never forget, I went to a meet and greet and we switched tables. It was kind of like speed dating. We switched tables every few minutes and we got to talk to a new set of potential contacts. It was exhausting. I went home that night and sat on the couch like a lump, but I walked away with new ideas, new ways of sharing what I was doing, and even more importantly, new contacts. So every once in a while, you may need to actually reach out. In our online world, this might mean participating in summits. It might mean providing value in a Facebook group that you're in and reaching out and saying, hey, I'd love to connect. Would you like to have a coffee chat on Zoom? I know we're all over Zoom, but a 15-minute coffee chat to get to know someone costs you 15 minutes of your time. And you never know who that person, what that person might bring to your life and what you might bring to theirs. That's the beauty about building relationships. It's a two-way street. You have an opportunity to give back in your community and in the online world as you build relationships. Okay, that's enough about relationships because I'm guessing your wheels are spinning. You're trying to think about what you could do to start building relationships. Look at the things that you're already involved in and go from there. Now, the other piece of today's podcast episode is web presence, which goes along with building relationships, because as you build a web presence, you are also building relationships. Now, I told you that I'm a little bit of an I'm a lot of an introvert, and I'm also a lot of a perfectionist. Building a web presence, being a perfectionist can create some stumbling blocks. So if you are a perfectionist, listen up. One of my favorite people, Jasmine Starr, said, perfection is procrastination in disguise. Man, that was eye-opening. So every moment that I said, oh, it's got to be perfect, I was just procrastinating. So now, take action, any action. That's kind of my motto. Take action, any action. That's also something that Jasmine talks about quite a bit. You have to simply do. You've got to get out there. So as you're building your web presence, this is going to go back to your vision. It's going to go back to your products and services and your one-liner that we have already been talking about in this blueprint series. So remember, if you're new, go back, listen to those episodes. We start the blueprint series in episode 65 and continue forward from there. Okay, web presence. Common questions I get. Do I have to Be on TikTok, be on LinkedIn, be on Instagram, be on Facebook, have a YouTube channel. Do I have to have a website? Do I have to? And what if I wonder if I could invite you to think about this a little bit differently. What if you think about, instead of do I have to, could I? Could I create a web presence on LinkedIn that brings me ideal clients ready for coaching, for my membership, for my services? Could I do that? And could I in turn give back on that platform? So what if we switch that do I have to could I? And just flip the script on it. Because the moment that you start thinking to yourself, do I have to have TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, web address, an email, website? Well, the answer is just a no. Do you have to do it all? No. In fact, I don't do TikTok. I don't even have a TikTok account. Am I on LinkedIn? Sometimes. Am I on Instagram? Much more frequently. What about Facebook? Well, I usually create for Instagram and share to Facebook and use the same content on Facebook. But I also have an email list, which we're going to talk about next week. I also have a website. I have lead generators. We're going to talk about lead generators next week with our email list. And the following week when we talk about marketing and sales. So here's the thing. When you think about a web presence, I want you to get out there and start doing. Don't worry about being perfect, because what happens is when you get out there and do, you get clearer on what it is you need to do. You get clearer on your messaging. You get clearer on your marketing. You get that engagement from people and you see what hits and what doesn't. What maybe you need to focus on more to attract your ideal clients and what you could do less of. Because at the end of the day, you want to build a business that is not just profitable, but that you love. And if you are doing a lot of tasks that you absolutely hate and make you dread, well, that's not building a business that you want to continue and grow over the years. So create a web presence that works for you. Okay. Don't let it be perfect. 70% perfect, 70% good, and ship it out the door. That is one of the things that I really admire about Brandon Lucero. He is all about get it 70% good and then give it a whirl, try it out, because it's a reminder that nothing is perfect. We don't need it to be perfect. Perfection, like Jasmine says, is procrastination in disguise. So here are action items for this week. It's two-part because today's podcast is two-part. The first part is all about relationships. I want you to look at the opportunities that you already have in your business right now to build relationships. Do you already participate in co-working sessions? Do you already go to summit or participate in summits? Do you get invitations to present at summits? Maybe you could say yes next time. I want you to look at the possibilities that already exist, and then I want you to find 3 new opportunities where you could or how you could build relationships that serve your business. That's part 1. Part 2 is all about your web presence. I want you to, this week, think about what your ideal web presence would look like. What would it mean? Is it posting every day? Is it posting once a week? Is it having just a website and a really strong lead generator? I promise we're going to talk about that more next week and the week after. Is it that you love Instagram? And as you're thinking about this, what that ideal looks like, I also want you to think about where your potential clients are hanging out. Because if they're all hanging out on LinkedIn and not on Facebook, and you're spending all of your time on Facebook, it is going to be very difficult to build your business. So there is some give and take here. Now, you heard me say earlier, I'm not on TikTok. I don't even have a TikTok account, and I have no intention of getting on TikTok, but that is because I have access to my ideal clients in other avenues that I enjoy spending my time on much more. Okay? Those are your action items for this week. Start thinking about what your ideal web presence is. and what your ideal client needs as well. Kind of mesh the two. How does that sound? Because at this point, you are really making progress. If you have been following along, making micro decisions, staying focused, implementing what we're talking about, you have the start of a vision. You have a daily rhythm developing. You've got mentor and peer thoughts in your mind. You've got products and services that are starting to be defined. You've got a one-liner that you are working on, practicing, adjusting. And now you're thinking about how do you build relationships so that you can build your business, and what does your web presence look like? Believe it or not, we just have 4 episodes left in this Coaching Hive Blueprint series. You have already done a lot of work, and I'd like to pause here for a moment and congratulate you. This is not easy, what we're doing, but you are putting in the effort, you're putting in the time, and it will pay off. Now, if you feel like, gosh, I need more help than I'm getting in this podcast, I need more detail, I need more depth, I hear you, and I've got you covered. If you will send me a DM, I want to keep it simple for you. Send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook. Remember, Instagram at Coaching Hive, Facebook is at Coaching Hive Life. Send me a DM that says apply, because I've got an application for you. It's short, it's simple, to apply to work with me in the Coaching Hive. And this can take a lot of different approaches. Maybe you're ready for a mentoring and peer community. Maybe it is more of a focus on marketing and messaging. As a StoryBrand certified guide, I can help you with that. And so through that application process, I'll learn more about what you need, where you're at, and where you're headed. And we will get together and talk to figure out what the next right step is for you to get more in-depth help and guidance in building your business. Whether that's a membership, a coaching business, a combination, we will talk. So send me that DM, keep it simple, just apply or application, whatever works for you, whatever you can remember. Send that to me on Instagram at Coaching Hive or on Facebook at Coaching Hive Life. We'll talk, we'll figure out the next steps forward so that you can get on your way to having a profitable business using this blueprint and clarifying your marketing and messaging. As we wrap up today, I want to thank you for being here. And if you got something out of today's episode or any of the other episodes, would you do me a favor? Would you rate the podcast and leave me a review? This helps us to reach more people. It means that people like you who want this information and need this information can get to it a little bit more easily. And I like reading reviews. It helps me plan content for the future. It helps me know how to better serve you. And of course, it lets me know that you're out there listening and building a business that you dream of. And one other simple thing you can do to help get the word out about the Coaching Hive podcast and the Blueprint series that we're in right now, take a screenshot of this episode as you're listening to it, post on those Facebook stories, Instagram stories, and tag me. And I'll be sure to support the folks that comment and are interested in learning more. I'll be there to help you. Okay, that's all for now. I look forward to seeing you back here next week for another episode of the Coaching Hive podcast, where a focus on mentoring and community removes the overwhelm of building your successful coaching business and adds in a dose of momentum. Until next time, have a healthy, safe, and happy week.